are excited and want to give attention to a recent Rose Hill community cleanup that was designed and created and went forward, and wow. So good morning, Armani.
Great morning. Great day to you.
Armani's sitting in here, sunglasses on. It's a bright day. So,
You know.
So Derek, I know you've been in the States now. How long?
About 2.5 months.
About 2.5 months.
Yes.
So we're introducing you to Mr. The Armani Valentino.
Oh man, come on now,
chilling.
on.
I've noticed, and you may notice too, in the Rose Hill area, there was a flyer, and I noticed the flyer, as I do many of the others. But beyond the flyer, Texas High athletes were dressed in their bright orange uniform, out actively in the community. Armani, what can you tell us more about that?
Which part?
He said which part? How did this come to be?
We started the Rose Hill cleanup. I've been doing them since I got back in 2016. Pretty much solo. Every once in a while, maybe one or two people would come and help me out. And then I decided to go bigger last year. And Coach Justin, Coach Shantiqua Smith of Hooked on Fitness and Nutrition, and also Coach Robbie Jr. They just kind of jumped in and have stayed committed to the vision that I had, and I appreciate them for that. And so we had to reschedule a couple of times, but we did 2 mini cleanups, I guess you could say, this year. And then Coach JC, as they call him, Coach Justin Coates, he's from Rose Hill. Mm-hmm. And he called me one day and he said, hey, the athletic director wants to have the boys come out and do a cleanup on Saturday the 14th. Is that something we can do? And I was like, heck yeah, man. Of course we can do that. And it was great. It was great because a lot of the young men, I had worked with them in some capacity since I've been back, whether it was at the middle school or after school program or something somewhere. And so when they saw me, I was excited to see them. They were excited to see me, and the coaches kind of just let me do my thing with them as far as pouring into them and, just instructing and just, doing the thing. And so that was really good. That was really good.
So it was hashtag Buy Back the Block Texarkana,
yes.
Texas High football team. It was a back-to-school Rose Hill mini cleanup.
Yes.
This event was Saturday, August 14th, and it was from 10:30 to 12.
Yes.
I couldn't help but to notice, Derek, the pictures of the before and after.
Yes.
And it's amazing how much work was put into it. Now, did you stick to the 10:30 to 12? I feel like you probably didn't.
We did, actually. We actually did. It was amazing because, before last year we had like about 45 people or so, and we got a lot of work done in the hours that we did. And then we had the one this year, and it was more like 15, about 20 people, right at 20 people, I think. And so we didn't get near as much work as we wanted to get done. And so this was like the get back. We got our get back when you got 130, 40 kids to show up, and you're able to just put them out there in like 10 different teams and go to specific areas. That was great.
That is. And of the little bit of research I've been able to do, by any stretch of the imagination, it's been a success. And it sounds like now I'm learning that this is more or less an organic program, not necessarily tied with the city.
Absolutely.
That is wonderful.
I won't really get into that, but when I first got back, I went and I asked the city for multiple ways and avenues that they could help and assist in different ways, and it didn't come easy. I'm one of those people. We can talk all day, but at the end of the day, I need some help. I need some support. If you in, let's go. If not, it is what it is.
Right.
And so I'm gonna figure out a way to get stuff done, no matter what. That's how I've always been. Miss Dee Dee's known me probably since I was really young, and that's just how I am. If it's me by myself, if I'm gonna do it. And luckily, it hasn't been me by myself. Here lately, people have been joining on, and I just always feel like anytime if you just go and start moving, somebody will come. God will always send a ram or 2 or 3 or 4 or 134 in the bush, and so that's just one of those things. That's just kind of my attitude. I like to do. I talk a lot, but I do even more than I talk. So,
Right.
So when you
Text or Canada if you have any questions, comments, or concerns. If you were even at the event August 14th and you want to weigh in, you are welcome to give us a call here in the studio, 903-794-1047, as we continue talking about what the great cause and effect of this was.
one other thing was that if you ask people for help and they're able to support you, I realize that they will. We went to some of the community, some of the businesses in the community, and they assisted. Like we were supposed to have some help with the food. Well, at the last minute, I made a call to Chick-fil-A on Richmond Road, and they provided food for one of the cleanups that we did this year.
wow.
And Lowe's provided the bags for us. Who else? Oh God, I'm like missing people, but different organizations
Right.
and businesses said, "Hey, we're in. Hey, we can do this. Hey, we can do that." Individuals brought water, which is hot in
Yes,
Texas
it is.
early.
So,
I've learned
so
that.
we have statewide initiatives such as Keep Texas Beautiful. I remember being a little girl. There was one about recycling, reduce, reuse, those that kind of have catchy phrases with it. What this does say is we can create what we can and what we like, whether
Right.
we're building partnerships or we're going in with the city or not,
Right.
with respect to the city.
Right.
Because as you were stating, we got a lot of local support with this,
Right.
and the children were even able to benefit
Yes.
in their own community.
Yes.
And that says a lot in itself.
And that's where they play.
Yeah.
And I told them, I said, this is where you all play. And, people from this community walk here every other Friday or so whenever you have games. And they are there and they will be here. And so I wanted to give them that mindset that whether you live here or not, if you consider yourself to be a Texas High Tiger football team member, this is your home. And it's right smack dab in the middle of Rose Hill. And so coming out here doing this, it's like, hey, I'm cleaning up my home.
Yeah.
Right.
And they got it.
Yeah.
They got it. And so they were really more excited about cleaning up than I expected them to be. And so that was amazing.
Well, I think it's also a reflection of having great leadership attributes, and because a lot of people can want to do things.
Yeah.
A lot of people, like you mentioned, talk about doing something, and a lot of them may even try.
Mhm.
But with this type of situation, it's planning, organizing, and motivating, and you can't do that without leadership. So, what was that process like in terms of taking this big task and then breaking it down?
I think everything starts small. I think if you're faithful over little, God will make you rule over much.
All right.
And so I believe I've always tried to be faithful over whatever He put me. He put me, I guess, not even say in charge of, but put me in a position of servant leadership. I've always been in a position of servant leadership before it was a buzzword. And so I think that I've always looked at leadership as I have these individuals to serve, and they're not serving me. I'm serving them. And so I need to be able to figure out how can I best serve the individuals or the individual that God has given me charge over at that particular point in time. And so I take leadership seriously when it comes to that, because when you are in a position of leadership, your words, your actions, the way you dress, all those things are being watched by other people.
Absolutely.
And they will mimic you, especially minds that are impressionable. And so I've always looked at, anytime I've been in front of a mic, I want to make sure that I'm inspiring somebody. I want to make sure I'm leaving them with something good, something better than what they came with. And again, Dee Dee has interviewed me probably since I was about 15 years old, in some capacity on the air. And so, I think she will probably say that I've always tried to do that. I mean, I had a singing group, still have it, for many years. But my main thing was, okay, once we do all this singing and everything, can I leave somebody with something that's going to help them make it through this day, inspire them towards their goals, dreams, and aspirations in some way, shape, form, or fashion?
So let's talk Coach Justin Coates.
Absolutely.
I think it's very admirable of him in the seat, as a coach, positioned as a coach.
Yes.
to be on board to bring out his athletes. He could be solely tied to just the idea that, these guys play football.
Yes.
And it speaks very clear that he wants to ensure that these students have more than just the game
Absolutely.
mentality.
Coach Justin is one of the best young men that I've met. And I feel like I'm about to get emotional. If you know him, if you know anything about this brother, he works really hard, real dedicated brother. He has a son with special needs, and he works really, really hard with him. Does not give up, and is just a great example of a young man that's a real stand-up guy from Rose Hill. And he is one who is dedicated. If he tell you he's going to do something, something has to really come up for him not to show up. If he's with you, he's with you.
Right.
And so that level of dedication is motivating for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, Coach Justin, if you're listening, man, I appreciate you so much. He's really just been there in that regard, and just a good example of a man.
Coach Coates, if you're listening, please call in. We would love to hear from you. We know you couldn't come in this morning, but we would be remiss if we left you out. We would love to hear from you. You're welcome to call 903-794-1047 if you're available. Others, you're welcome to call